Hey Blackhawks, I just wanted to record a quick video that's I think helpful to a lot of the kids to see to look at what our formation is supposed to be. I've noticed in some of the games that I think there's been some confusion, which is understandable because we have a first year team together, a few new players, and I think all of the players, it's their first year playing 99, maybe one or two have played before, but we were 7v7 last year, so this is new formations for all of them. So, and for your families too, I think it's good to see what we're trying to accomplish out there on the pitch. So we want to run a 1-3-2-3, so three on the back defensive line, two midfielders, and three forwards up front. Now, in this type of formation, the players that are getting the most work, having to work most of the pitch, are the outside backs and the outside forwards here. Because when we're in possession of the ball and we're on the attack, these players are having to move all the way up the field. The backs are coming up almost past midfield. The halfbacks come up as well to support in the attack, and the center back comes to about here most of the time, depending on the pressure the other team's giving us. If they're not giving a lot of pressure, the center back could even push up to past half field as well, but most of the time he'll be sitting around there. The important thing to take away here is that when the ball is on offense, everybody's pushing up. Everybody's pushing up. Now, when we're on defense, it's the exact opposite. So on offense, we're expanded, heels on the chalk. On defense, when the fullbacks are in retreat, or the left back, right back are in retreat, they're making angles back to contract, to get tight with each other. We want to make the field smaller and defend the middle. The midfielders push back, and then the wings also need to push back and help on defense and pressure the ball at this level. And then the striker stays forward. So at any given time, we could have multiple players around the midfield protecting the most dangerous part of the field, the middle of the field, the middle lanes. Now, when we're on offense, if we win possession back, then what we want to do is get wide. We want to expand, so heels on the chalk for the wings and for the backs. And the midfielders want to stay close to each other, within 10 yards at any given time. They always want to be near each other. And what we're doing by doing this is we're making it harder for the other team to defend. When we're tight and when we're contracted, we're an easy team to defend. But when we're wide and we're expanded, we're harder to defend. And what we're trying to do here is create triangles. So triangle here, triangle here, triangle here, triangle here, triangle here, triangle here. And the reason we're doing that is so that we could pass around the defenders, so that we could keep possession of the ball. Now, when the ball's down here and we're on offense, it's the same idea. Everyone pushes forward, and hopefully we've pushed the ball up wide. That's what we're trying to accomplish. We have everyone pushing forward, including the backs and the central back, the center back. And in this scenario, then we have an option to either cross the ball. And if we do that, then we have one attacker, two attacker, and three attacker, and sometimes four if the ball is dropped back. Or we could play the ball back if we don't cross it to this person, and then we form triangles in that scenario. And if we play the ball back and the pass isn't here or here, then we could switch the field if their defense is concentrated on this side. Oops, move the ball here. And we still have our triangles to move the ball around or move in to try and score. Now, if we lose possession and we end up being on defense, then what I tell the boys to do is if we are retreating in defense, the center back moves back. They're moving back at an angle rather than running straight back. They're wasting a lot of energy doing that. Plus, we're actually defending the middle of the field. So if the ball gets pushed forward, we have everybody pushing back to help and to support. We don't want to give up the middle of the field. That's the last thing we want to do. If we end up giving up out wide or in the flanks, that's better for us. We're happy with defending out wide, because if that happens and it pushes out wide, then we have multiple people here that can support in that. Remember, the wings are pushing it back up to help with defense as well. Forwards pushing out. In this scenario, we push back. So it's like a big compression, so to speak. We're getting tight in our defense and compressing. So I also want to show a typical flow on kickoff. This is what I'd like to start seeing from the kids. When we start with a kickoff, we want to play the ball back to one of our central midfielders, who plays the ball back to the center back. And as soon as that happens, then we have our backs, who may have started out a little tighter, come heels on chalk, move out to expand. And then we have what I want our midfielders to do is to split up, so we have multiple options to pass to. So we're forming triangles. One here, one here, one here. So there's multiple options to pass to. Now the idea is that we want to get the ball out wide here. And this is something that I'm hoping the boys can pick up and get eventually. They're not going to get it right away, but eventually they will. Now the back ideally is looking to play the ball into the midfielder. And what I'd like the midfielder to do is to play the ball into the central forward. And once that happens, he moves up with the hopes of getting the ball into the central forward, so that he can in turn, let's see if I can turn this guy around. So he's playing facing the central midfielder. The ball gets played to him, and he plays the ball back to him. Who in turn is going to have a runner this way, and ideally we can play the ball through like this and start the attack like I showed in the previous clip. Now once the ball is played up, we're on the attack and everybody pushes forward. The striker, his central forward's moving up. The winger's coming in to receive a cross, ideally, in a perfect world. And then once that happens, we have a cross coming in. We have one runner coming this way. We have another one coming on the mid post. We have another one coming on the far post. And ideally, we have multiple opportunities to get the ball in the opposing goal. All of these guys are pushing forward too on the attack. So let's take a look at what that will look like on defense. So if the ball is played back on our side of the field and we're moving back to defend, the central forward is staying up, not that far up, but he's coming back a little, facing this direction. If the ball somehow gets played, let's say it gets played over the forward and into this area, then we're going to have multiple people here to defend. And if it's in this area over here, then we have everybody shifting to come and help out. Now let's say the ball gets played through to here and the central back has to come up and defend and he decides to take him on. Then what needs to happen is he needs to fall back and support, and the weak side defender needs to come back and take over the central back positioning. And these guys are taking away any passing lanes that could be created from some runners coming on the outside. So whenever someone moves from their area on defense to play the ball, then someone's got to come in and support. So we have support on this side, and he's taking over the central back position. What I don't want to see happen is the boys to think that because they're left back that they don't have a responsibility to come in and support in the middle of the field when we're defending an attack. I want them to be able to be free flowing, but also know that just because they're in this position doesn't mean they can't come in and help. And just because he is the right back and his area is here, he will need to come back in and support when we're on the attack. And just as well as these wingers will have to do up top as well. And even these midfielders are going to have to help. Their job is really to sweep up anything that comes in this area and not let it get to this level. So in this instance, if a ball gets played over here and the left back decides to come up and take it, if he misses a tackle, he's ideally going to have support here. And the midfielder, just because this is the midfielder's position, can come back and help as well if this weak side support's slow to get there. So everyone needs to come in and help. If someone misses a tackle, then we have someone pressing right away and someone else falling back in support. So hopefully this helps the kids out, and really, we're trying to develop these kids, and I really want to see them start to stay in their positions and know when they need to support and know when they need to get wide. And we're trying to develop them into, better soccer players so that they could have more success on the pitch. And please show this to them, let them see it so that they could see what it is that we're trying to accomplish. I think it'll help a lot of them for those that are the visual type of learners. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys at practice.